Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is JT with Legacy Art Games, and we are back after a week's break for more tabletop campaigns. Yes, today we are back with GM Frosty and her tales of Crestborn, a dark setting of her own creation. Today we pick back up where we left off with our characters having made some deals with a hag, which
I've
turned
only
out
just
not
realised how
so
little I've had to
well.
drink today, so I'll be back in a minute.
And
Sorry.
well, my character is sort of retired as a result, but don't you worry, I'll be coming back as a new one. For now, we're going to follow our heroes as they are. So I'm going to turn it over to the GM. Okay, Frosty, it is all yours. I've told them we had a little hag issue, and now we're just taking it from there.
All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Crestborn Session 7. Once again, Legacy Art Games has been a great player and our gracious host for the stream. Welcome, everyone. We'd like to say hi again to our returning players. We have the Death of Rats playing Helja.
Just literally just went away, so...
We'll have them say hi when they get back. And then there's Zen playing the teddy bear Kumatori.
Hello.
And returning from their brief stint not appearing in this film, Brando playing Bin.
Hello.
Now, last we left off, you guys had discovered that several of your party members were suffering from a strange sickness and were unconscious. You had sought shelter in a small outcropping and cave in the swamp. You encountered a couple of goblins that caused you very little trouble and revealed that there was a many-eyed creature ruling over the castle. You suspect it could be the mysterious Izoni that you've heard about that lurks in the swamps. Seeking the hags to find a cure and find some answers and possibly discover a way to leave this strange cursed swamp. Use some magic to track down one of their huts. Made your way through the swamp until you encountered a small hut inside a very strange and twisted grove with weird and shamanistic and ritualistic things hanging from the trees. You were greeted by the old hag lady and welcomed into her hut. And upon entering, she proceeded to try and make several deals with each of you. Helja, you made a deal and gave up your next drink, but found, in exchange for a new pair of boots, but found that you could no longer drink and were perpetually thirsty. Kuma, you refused to pay or make any deals.
Because he had nothing to offer.
And over the course of your discourse with the hag, Kavanael made several sacrifices. Initially giving up their memories of home and the celestial plane for a cure for his friends. Later, he relinquished his sword in a foolish wording with the hags while threatening her in order to get knowledge of the way out of the swamp. And lastly, after toying around with one of the hag's strange and unusual bags, which turned out to be a bag of devouring, Kuma was transported to the astral plane, and Kavanael made the ultimate sacrifice, giving up his sense of duty and purpose so that Kuma could return to the world of the living. Kuma, you have just returned, after having been floating in the strange, starry astral lands. And Cav, you linger and feel different and lost. Nothing seems to hold any meaning to you anymore. You know that what you did for a purpose, and it surely must have been a great one, or at least an important one. But none of that seems to matter anymore. And this is where we pick up.
And GM question. First of all, would you like me to keep playing Cav for now, or are we picking up somewhere else?
We're picking up with Cav, with them leaving, like the discussion about what's going to happen. And
Okay. And can he sense that he is now putting out a potentially dangerous aura where once it was protective?
most likely.
Okay. So Cavaniel has been, for so long as he's been watched, sort of not himself. He seems fairly content with having made the decision to remain here in the cab, or rather the cabin in the swamp, uh, where he would be very much isolated. He says, and he claims this is for the best. And as he does so, there may be some evidence that this is true, because where normally those around him feel a sense of safety, almost protection, it's now turned to a sense of almost lingering dread, something very wrong. And the only person who might possibly feel anything good out of it could be the undead side of Kumatori, because that does sort of feed into the undead side's strength. But Cavaniel seems to be aware that this is happening, and he's very much been resolved throughout all the talking that he is staying put where he is. It is for the best that he is not around others.
Can Kuma roll an insight on Cavaniel to see if that's what brought him back?
Yeah.
$21.
Yeah. Shortly after you turned, you noticed a new shiny token hanging from the ceiling. A warrior's like reward medal. It's a small golden star.
And actually, I'm going to DM you something important, Frosty.
Helja, do you know what happened while I was away?
Let's see. You went into the bag. You didn't come out the bag. Cavaniel seemed to feel a little bit guilty, and he went into it, spoke to the baby corpse over there, and made a deal about something with his memories in return for your life.
Well, I wasn't actually dead, is the thing. Just on another plane. Is the destroyed bag of devouring?
Yeah, it's laying on the floor.
I would like to roll an Arcana check to see if he understands it a little bit more.
Okay. Make it with advantage.
And
It's got a little tongue hanging outside of the flap and drool.
Yep, 18.
Yeah. You'd be aware of what it is at this point.
Is the damage to it very obviously that of a pickaxe?
Yes.
Helja,
Yeah,
did you attack the bag?
maybe.
Okay, so for future reference, Bag of Devouring, if you do anything damaging to it, everything inside is sent to the astral plane.
Right.
Luckily, none of that stuff is destroyed, which is what normally happens if it sits in there for too long. But now they will be irretrievable.
Ah. Well, would have been handy to know that beforehand.
Uh, Things kind of kicked off before I could explain what it was.
Yeah. Sort of shuffles awkwardly. My bad.
Well, it's destroyed now, and you can't really fix them. Not without special magic. A simple mending spell won't do anything to restore it. Not that you'd want to. You want the better counterpart to this.
Well, if you're sure you want to be sticking around here, Crab, then that's up to you. I personally wouldn't.
It's
But
kind of
we
still
got,
on fire.
yeah, especially because of that. But we got two sick idiots to look after. If you don't mind, I would like
Speaking
to
of
grab.
which, it's you guys have noticed that some of the ice around the cure has already started to thaw.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I would like to just grab this quickly. I'm just going to unhook the sword from the top of the ceiling.
Okay.
Just grab that. I'm just gonna grab this. If this doesn't mean much to you at all.
The sword, and no longer. I feel as though I cannot touch it, but I do feel the need to urge you to take care of it and to bring it to where you're going, to the place beyond the mountains.
Sounds
It
good.
should be with them.
Sounds good. I like the look of the handle. Um,
It's a very nice sword.
Yes.
It's definitely made of some strange, almost golden material. There's lots of white and strange celestial etchings on it.
And before you go, and Cavagno already seems to be settling in, he's tearing down all of the hag ornaments and trying to make something of the place, getting the food organized and so forth. He seems to be quite content.
As the hag's magic has started to fade, as you're looking around at the food, most of it is all rotten and old. She was using her magic to make it enticing.
Well, at least he has a knife. He can find something, I guess. Um, Cabaniel says, before you go, would you mind reminding me of my name, at least? I seem to, I don't know if I was hit on the head. I don't know what happened. I don't know who I am, where I am.
We don't remember.
You don't remember. You seem very distinctive people to be in. Is this my house?
um, going to say no. It's not your house, but if you would like it to be, well, you may want to stop it burning down first.
Also,
But
don't destroy any of the trinkets.
yeah. Try and come up with a name for you if you'd like.
So you both of you just roamed into my. If it's not my house, how did I get here? I'm very confused.
You guys do remember traveling with him and how you met him.
Yeah, we just don't remember his name.
Yeah.
You came here with us.
With you, why would I be somewhere like this?
You are a bodyguard, were a bodyguard of sorts. There was an encounter in this very hut, and it's influenced you, it seems.
Influenced me. Well, given that you're a talking doll, I'm going to assume you may know a thing or two about what sort of magic could do this?
Bad magic.
Well, clearly, yes. I, I don't even recognize my own reflection in the mirror. Uh,
To be honest, I don't really remember what your face looked like initially.
well, where are you going? What was I guarding you from?
Uh, Stuff outside.
You're being a little vague.
Uh, there's a reason for it.
There's a reason for it, right? And I'm your bodyguard, but so far as I can tell, all I've got on me is a dagger. I don't follow what is happening.
Well, you know that sword used to be yours.
Except my sword, which you have. Why, I do not know. Uh, except that I feel as though I can't take it from you.
A hex has been placed on the sword.
Hex on my sword. So, something more than just bad magic happened here. Would someone
A
mind
lot of
just
that.
telling me everything?
Mhm.
To the
We-
best.
we-
Well, we also need to get going, but basically, avoid the water unless you purify it first. Everything's bad and wants to kill you. Everything's bad and wants to kill anything alive. So, just mind the plants, the light up ones,
But
and mind the toads.
well, if everything outside of the hut is trying to kill you, then should I not, as your bodyguard, be going with you?
If you would like to, I'm not going to stop you, but you said that you felt like staying here. And
Well,
also, you're kind of creeping me out more than you used to, and you were already pretty creepy beforehand.
And the path to where we need to go has already been cleared for us.
well, if that's what you wish, I won't deny. I feel as though there's something. Well, I guess you would describe it as bad magic, as you said earlier. But I feel like it's all around me. Like I'm the center of it. I don't understand. I feel as though I could still wield the sword if I could hold it. I remember perfectly how to wield the sword. I know that I was a knight of some kind. I remember my magic. I remember how to fight. I remember everything, but my face, my name, who I am, where I'm from, it's all gone. I could still protect you if you wished it, but at the same time, I feel as though I could be a danger to you. Not willingly, but just by being around you, I may be.
Well, perhaps to Helja.
Well, yes, and you mentioned some sick people. I don't wish to bring danger upon them either. I don't see a choice but to stay behind. Unless you feel as though I was so great enough a bodyguard as to risk this, whatever it is I'm radiating at the moment.
You guys get a sense that it's fairly obvious that since Cav has lost his sense of duty, he no longer really has what was a driving force to his person anymore. There's a hesitance and confusion to him, and almost seems to be trying to cling on to any sense of direction or order, most likely out of habit.
You want something you can try and do?
Well, yes, anything, I suppose.
Well,
I,
you're
I feel as though I should stay so that you can go along your path, but at the same time, I feel as though I shouldn't risk your success in traveling along the path because of this. And Cavanio holds up his right hand and presents his dragon mark.
The crest that's on his hand.
honestly be a pleasure for you to come staying with us, even if you are a bit making me feel a bit uncomfortable. But I think most importantly, I think your duty would probably try and live, keep yourself alive, maybe tidy this place up a bit. Can I include the swampland outside if you're not finding much purpose for yourself?
You could turn this place into a fortress. A halfway point in the middle of this swamp.
I, I, I'm given the sense that you're for the overall good, trying to keep me here, but trying to cushion my feelings, and that does not need to be done. I only
There's
ask for the
more to it.
truth.
There's more to it than that, and I'd rather not say more.
Well, so be it. If it's a curse, or rather a cure you carry for your friend's curse, then I suppose you should hurry on your way. I certainly remember how to handle myself in a swamp. I'll be fine here, if it's your wish for me to stay. And Cavaniel does, by the way, for all the world, look like a young man now. He does not have the shadow face or anything anymore.
Yeah. Honestly, I kind of just want to make sure that the others who we left behind are alright. Need to get the cure back to them very quickly. I'm not sure how much. I have a faint feeling that you're currently a liability if you're with us currently. No offense to you, but if you could actually make this place more habitable and be an outpost, then actually, I think you could probably do quite a bit of good in this area.
An outpost in the middle of a deadly swamp. You're even in my state of confusion, you're a bad liar. But that said, you do need.
Honestly,
I sense that you do need.
I don't think I'm lying. I think I'm just a bit of an idiot and fairly stubborn. We're better to make an outpost than where people don't want you to be.
That sounds more like a place to confine myself, but, well, you have friends to cure, so if it's your wish for me to stay behind, then I will stay behind. You know more than I do, even if you're not saying it, and he's peering at Kuma as he states this.
I'm sorry, but I have a good reason for not saying more.
And I'll just say it out of character. I'm giving you guys a chance if you want to try and talk him out of it. It will just be very difficult.
Currently feels like you're trying to talk us back out of character. It feels like you're trying to have an excuse for him to stay.
No, I just told Frosty I've decided I will let them, if they want, try and talk him out of it. I'm not going to metagame and force you guys into a decision.
There is a very in character reason for why Kuma's trying to keep him there, as well as not saying anything about what's actually going on. And it's a thing to do with amnesia. It's just a very bad thing to do.
All right. Well, Gavaniel seems to just give up and slump his shoulders slightly. He's well aware that he's not being clued in as to what's going on, but at the same time, he does seem to be making himself at home, even if it's a prison of sorts. He's taken the hag's trinkets down without breaking them, and just starts clearing things up as though this were completely normal. There's a mildly defeated look on his face, but he's accepting that, you know, the polite insistence that he does not follow along when they leave.
All right. So you guys finish things up with Cav, and Cav kind of resigns himself, realizing that the cures are starting to thaw.
Well, I had a solution for that. I can't, refreeze them, obviously, but I can delay the thawing process if I can find some cloth, and then just chill the cloth.
That'll at least make it last a little longer. It's easy to find a few pieces of cloth in here and grab some and head out. You say your goodbyes to Cav. And make your way back to the camp. It's a little tricky going, but having made this walk before, it's not too hard. You begin to approach the camp. You make your way in and return around the campfire. You clear out the blockage from the road and give them the cure and settle in for the evening. Kuma, you keep watch for the night.
Is there a spot that Helja could throw me? Because that tree looks knocked down.
Yeah.
Oh no, that tree's intact. I think I used that tree before with the goblins.
Yep, you did.
All right. You guys take a long rest. Bin, the last thing that you remember was fighting the hag and the toads, and you begin to wake up feeling really sick and sweaty, and there's something moving around in your mouth.
Oh, what the?
You spit out. You found a frog hanging with its frozen butt in your mouth.
So he was the sucker in this situation.
Oh, God. Where?
It hops
Look.
off, dragging a little bits of its frozen butt behind.
I'm looking around, and is Addis right next to me?
You do see Addis right next to you. He's still unconscious. You see most of his frog is still frozen, sitting in his mouth.
Oh, I'm gonna get up and look around. Kuma, Helja, what the? Hello?
Well, what a surprise. The frog actually worked.
I mean, you can trust that it's a contract. You can trust a hack to keep to the contract, even if it's a bad deal.
Helja.
Yeah?
What? How long was I knocked out for?
Why was there a frog in my mouth?
Yeah. Why? Why was there a frog in my mouth? Why is there a frog in Addis's mouth?
I'd say you're about a day, I think.
I think about half a day.
Half a day. Hard to tell. There's no sun currently. Well, I got told that to stop you being ill, that you needed to suck on a cold frog. And you two are pretty ill.
Someone is
What happened after the frog? What happened after the toads?
You fell ill. We chucked you in that cave there. And then we went to go fix you.
Okay.
We're going to go see a fucking hag.
And aren't we missing the big angel guy?
That's actually a point. Would we remember that he was angelic?
You guys don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Nope. Angel guy?
Big face shield guy. Cavaniel.
Nope, you don't know his name either.
No, they do. They weren't there.
They do? I figured it affected the entire party. Because his entire existence was basically erased. So, anyone in the world remember him?
It affected the people there.
No clue who you're on about. Say currently his sword on my back.
Yeah, you do see Cav's sword on your back.
Helja, you're
getting a little
you're
bit of
carrying
echo.
it.
Yeah, it's Brando.
Where's it from?
Whenever your push to talk is on, you echo.
What?
Could you also repeat what you last said, Brando? To hold you, because didn't hear it properly.
I'm pretty sure his sword's on your back.
Oh, you mean the random human guy we kind of dumped back of the bodyguard guy? Right, him. He made a promise to the hag about losing his memories and stuff, and he kind of turned a bit creepy. He also can't touch the sword anymore, so thought I'd pick it up. Pretty gold.
A lot of bad things happened while you were unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
I went to another plane.
I see.
you guys see the half of the frog that was in Addis crawling away. Its butt still frozen. Just dragging this ice cube lower half of it.
Float down and land on the rock.
This adventure keeps getting more complicated and complicated as we keep going.
Welcome to the world outside the walls.
I should have stayed in Zenith here.
You guys can hear some rustling in the trees nearby.
I shouldn't have come down from the tree.
Did anyone else hear that?
Yeah. I didn't like the sound of it either.
It's getting closer.
I'm gonna ready my crossbow.
No, I don't want. No, it's too early for school. You can hear Addis mumbling in his hallucinating sleep.
I'm gonna slump against the cart and go inconspicuous.
I'm gonna
Gonna-
go to Addis.
Duck into the cave.
He's cuddled up with a rock.
Yeah, this is not me this time. Actually, if he was snuggling with me, I'd, you know.
He's
wouldn't
sweating
have-
pretty bad and kind of looks like he's having bad fever dreams. The toad still crawling away. And a figure begins to walk out through the woods, wearing very strange, kind of tattered old clothing, greens, purples, elven features.
He's wandered into the woods. Oh well, look who's wandered into the woods.
Do they look alive?
Yeah.
Does the clothing look at all familiar to me?
Yeah. Make a history check.
Yumpus. Natural 20.
Yeah, you recognize it as some of the swamp witches that would watch over and try and fight Izoni.
But not so different from the hags, though.
Yeah.
Are these the witches? Are these the actual witches from the tales that the princess was talking about? But everybody usually got tricked into going to the hags instead of the witches.
Yep.
I'll just be keeping an eye on them.
Okay. Leosai, you have woken up from a very strange slumber. Last thing that you remember is you were actually attacked by the Coven of Hags. And you feel that Izoni has been woken up. And you've found your way, you've been hearing talking and the scent and smell of campfire and have been making your way towards it for the last 30 minutes.
So Leosai, having emerged from her trance with some memory of hags and the sense that her charge is loose, has been moving with quite some determination through the swamp. And this is familiar ground, but what is not familiar is the sight of a campfire. She does not see this often anymore, and as she draws closer, she just sort of pauses at the perimeter, leans against her staff, and asks, "Well, what do we have here?"
And looking around, the corruption when you fell into your slumber hadn't really reached much of the swamp yet. you're used to there being some sunlight, and the brush and overgrowth being far more comfortable, and the water being icky and mucky and swampish, but not this cold dread that fills the swamp these days, or currently. Your homeland's kind of been lost and corrupted.
Izoni is seeming, even though she's rather calm of disposition, she does seem a little ill at ease when she looks around, particularly at the water, as if she can sense the wrongness about it, and she finally steps forward closer to the fire, and as she does so, she lifts her staff and brings it down again, a louder thump, so as to draw attention from anyone who might be, say, hiding off in the shadows.
You see a fairly large black and white teddy bear that looks like it's just been set to the side of an old abandoned cart. And you can see some figures moving in the shadows in the small cave.
State your name as intention, or the axe I'm holding will be going quite close to your face.
I come out drawing my crossbow.
Oh, and sorry, GM, but on the dark vision question, yes, actually.
Did you see? Did you find it on your race sheet?
Yeah. 60 feet.
Yep.
I was wondering because, like, you said elven features, and I'm like, elves always have dark vision. Last I checked.
Yeah, I'm out of it today. Sorry, you guys and viewers. State my intentions. Well, at the moment, you are standing on the grounds that I guard, and I would have you state your intentions. What has happened to my charge?
I'm gonna look over to Helga and then whisper, what the hell is she talking about?"
Hell's just gonna shrug.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know what I'm talking about. Look around yourselves. The swamp is withering beneath some force, and what's worse, Izoni is loose. I'm supposed to be preventing that.
Well,
Kuma, you recall the strange wisp of smoke and the spider rising when you destroyed the tarantula.
Yeah, see, that's why it's not making sense, because by destroying it was supposed to completely ruin the bargain, not get rid of the bargain. So, because when you destroyed the other one, she said, now it can never be undone.
Yep.
Cap's deal was supposed to scare her, and he lost his sword. She's tricky.
Make a Arcana check.
well,
Me?
I was about to say you've done
Yep.
a pretty good job.
Oh, there's the bad roll.
Yeah, you're not understanding the magic involved.
You've done a pretty good job of stopping her coming out.
It was the hags. And, she seems a bit ashamed to even admit the fact when she says it. Normally, I'm well aware of them, and they keep their distance because I've set more than one of them ablaze. But they just don't give up. It's as if they want Izoni to be loose. And last thing I remember, they were upon me in numbers. There was more magic than I could counter, and well, I woke up some distance away, and the swamp has completely changed. There's the sun itself is darkened. But I know for a fact Izoni is loose and she should not be. I myself placed the warding runes around where she was contained. If she had left, there would have been a great explosion. But I don't know what's happened.
Well, we've just killed 2 hags.
They're still here, even in the midst of all this, then that would explain it. They likely dispelled the runes after subduing me and then set Izoni loose. Fools, I always told them she was a problem. She would kill them all in the end, but they just don't listen.
Kuma, it's starting to make sense to you that some of those trinkets weren't deals, but were likely anchors for rituals.
Mm,
And that one was likely
Probably-
keeping a guardian
probably-
suppressed.
and probably the 3 that she was specifically looking at were all anchors. Because the anchors would be a lot more important than a bargain, because a bargain can't be undone as easily.
Correct.
Well,
If you had more time and been a little bit more studious, you might have been able to figure out which were which.
if you dislike hags, then that's fine by me.
Of course I dislike them. They're foul things. They trick people out of their very souls if they can, but well, normally they kept their distance from the ruins where I held Izoni. If they came close, I threw some fire at them and they ran off. They knew I wasn't fooled by them. But, well, evidently they decided to muster and see if they could subdue me so as to reach Izoni, but I've no idea why they would spare my life, nor how much time has passed. I woke up and I do not sleep. That in itself is not sensible. Have you seen Izoni? Have you sensed her? Anything of this like?
I've heard the more intelligent ones among me chucking that name around. Needs to say, I've heard that she's a bit of a problem in the raft direction where we're trying to get to. If we could get out of this place.
She's, well, leaving is not a problem. I can help you with leaving, but the issue is, if Izoni has been loose for long enough that the swamp has changed this much, well, you have something of a problem. You see, Izoni is, well, she's a giant spider, but of the Fey persuasion, and she had children in her time. We kept them contained as well, through whose eyes she could see as she pleased. None so large or powerful as she was, but, well, if they're loose, then they could be anywhere. They could be watching you at all times, at any point in the swamp, and no doubt she has produced more of them as time has gone on. You've wandered into a very unfortunate place, and I can't imagine where it is you're going, unless it's perhaps the mountains.
At the mention of the being watched, you guys can hear things crawling and creeping and scurrying up in the overbrush and canopy of the swamp. And Kuma, Helja, and Ben, you're all getting the very distinct impression that the Yosai seems to think that the strange corruption that's happened to the swamp is from a Zoni, and seems unaware of the state of the world.
Yeah, well, Helga's currently just letting her be in her own little fantasy.
And Kuma, make you can see a couple of tiny spiders crawling off of you and down onto the ground.
He's not reacting. He's trying to stay inconspicuous.
Okay.
Well, see, what's amusing me currently, and I would suggest you sit down because that looks fairly uncomfortable leaning on that staff.
And you guys spot the strange triangle crest mark on her hand or wrist.
Sitting down is not wise at the moment. There are eyes upon us, that much I can promise you.
Yeah, well, by the sounds of it, no matter where we're going to have eyes upon us. And you seem to be a bit of the opinion that it's just this own little world of yours that's in danger. Trust me, it's bigger than this.
Helja, is it time for a dome?
If you can make one, yeah.
A dome? What do you mean?
Better to
You'll
say in
see.
about 10 minutes.
I'm gonna grab Kuma
Okay.
and bring them over to the fire with us.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's not gonna fight it. So
Helja
And
arms up to hug.
And I'm gonna start creating my tiny hut using my third spell.
Okay.
So I'll take.
oh, you're not ritualing it?
No, I'm not ritualing it.